Okay, Caitlin, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this microphone and then I'll get you to stand over here. Caitlin!
What?
That's a take.
G'day team, Robbie is my name. I'm joined by Ryan Lewis. Hello,
Hey.
How are you?
Good, mate. Good.
Welcome everyone to another version of Axon's Morning Brief. We're speaking to you in early to mid-October?
Yes.
Got to keep them guessing. Can't let them know exactly what date it is. But one thing I will say is that straight up that we've got the veteran games happening this weekend. So by the time you watch this, that would have occurred. So this is like a bit of back to the future sort of stuff. How about that? Well, hey, I remember when we got together yesterday, Ryan, and we're like, hey, let's give everyone a bit of a recap of everything that's been going on in Axon over the last 30 days. Mm-hmm. And we had a blank sheet of paper. I'm like, fuck, what have we done over the last 30 days? Yeah. And now we got a bunch of stuff we're going to go through. So I can't wait to give everyone a real update about, what's been happening in the property market. We've got some changes in the finance space. Yep. What are our little site visits down in Melbourne brought to the market to pass on to everyone? Yep. So, yeah.
And also
strap yourselves in, not put your strap on, ladies and gents, that we are got an awesome amount of information coming your way over the next 60 minutes or so.
Love it. Yeah, really excited. My favourite part of these sessions is the client stories, which we'll dive into as well. So we will get to those because there's a couple of bangers in there.
We've only got 3, but they are bangers. So, I love passing on those client stories because it is real-time, lived experience, actual conversations we're having with people that probably watched one of these a year ago and went, oh, those guys seem somewhat entertaining and they're very no bullshit and passionate about things, or whatever adjective you want to use to describe us. Probably not that. Whatever you say. Maybe I should reach out to them and fucking, hey, presto, we're having a chat.
And apologies, I just realised as a 40-year-old and a 50-something-year-old, we both said bangers. We probably shouldn't be using that word, but anyway, we're too old for that.
Oh, that's a Gen X word. I've got no idea what someone would say now. That'd be, real good. One of the things which has kept us super occupied in the last 3 or 4 weeks anyway, is a record level of inquiry.
Massive.
Isn't it?
It's huge.
It's just something in the water out there right now. I reckon, so we've got our 7 ingredients to a healthy property market, all the fundamentals that go into why an area is going to go up in value. But I reckon there's like an 8th ingredient. I'm not formally recognising this, by the way, but market and consumer confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
Interest rates are coming down. There's a new sort of bits and pieces coming from a first home buyer's point of view. So, yeah, what's your read on things? I know your calendar, my calendar, James's calendar has been chockers.
Absolutely full, apart from James taking the time off and...
It's all right. It's the
first week in the job. Oh, I'm going on holidays.
Right? You got that approved before I approved it.
I think what I've seen is, and I said this a couple of times in morning briefs, is we get a larger number of younger people reaching out to us, and I think that is the younger generations realizing that property is a really strong asset class to invest in early.
Yeah, and
I think that tide is shifting. It hasn't been like that for a long time. And that's a large contributor to the amount of people is, just the young people like, hey, I love Australian property. I know it performs well. I know it's relatively low risk and I want to get in as soon as I can.
And I've got $100,000 in the bank.
And have done really well
so
financially.
Yeah. I want to really give, the ADF members out there and whoever else is watching this, if you're less than 25 years old and you've got more than 50, 60 grand in the bank, you are at the top tier of society of what I've come across. And there's 4 or 5 other people in the room here. None of us had that savings at that stage of life. We were doing other things in life, living paycheck to paycheck, quite frankly. So it's just I love it because there's, those adults that are coming through, I was going to say kids coming through, that their parents are my age and therefore their parents have been now sort of institutionalizing and making them have good money mindset and good money habits from the start. I call it breaking the cycle because a lot of people I speak to at my age are like, my parents are leaving me nothing. Yep. And I'm like, my parents don't have any wealth that they can pass on to me either. So I want to give my kids something. I want to break the cycle.
Yeah, so. And it's such an interesting dichotomy for what's going on out there with the cost of living crisis, as the media are calling it, I guess, is that defence people seem to be doing far better than the general population. That comes down to stable paycheck. It comes down to lower rents, RA, DHA, whatever that might be. Yeah. And we always say to people, no matter where you are in your military career or stage of life, squeeze that stuff. Utilize that for all you can.
Bloody oath, mate. Having that guaranteed income arrive every second paycheck. Because it's tough out here in the real world.
Yeah.
Like you had a job before you joined the military,
Yep.
civilian job, then did your stint in,
Yep.
then got out and went back to that sector and now come and join Axon and now you're in the final job forever, I hope. And mate, it's a real world out there.
It is.
And if you don't perform, you clock on, you clock off, you're being managed in time and everything. So it's
and it costs a lot to live.
it does. What else has been going on, mate? We've had a record number of repeat clients come back and use our services and also direct referrals.
Again.
Like it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And what I just want to give a real shout out to the whole Axon team and the broader sort of tactical partners that we use, the finance broker, the solicitor, the accountant, financial planner, etc., is that everyone is just doing such a fantastic job. Because look, at the end of the day, when people are buying $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 assets and they're going through the build and we're flirting with people's financial future, the fact they want to do it again or tell their mates about it nearly 80% of the time, and we're doing about 100 builds a year, we're doing something right. So I just want to, provide a massive shout out to the whole team that I'm so, I admire the work and care that you show every single conversation you have with our clients.
And that's bleeding out into people that actually haven't used our services that are referring us. I've had a couple of people that have said, oh, how did you hear about us? Oh, Johnny from work. Oh, it's Johnny built a house with us. No, he just knows about you guys and said, if you're thinking about property, go speak to them.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
So cool. Yeah. Justin and I went down to Melbourne. Let's sort of switch gears a little bit. So we went down to Melbourne. He hadn't been down there before, so he's been working with us pretty much the whole year. And I'm like, mate, because he's got, had three properties under his belt, then sold one, restructured a few things, still got 2 awesome investment properties. And they were both bought up here in Southeast Queensland. So he wasn't aware of like the things going on down in Melbourne. And not an idiot, of course. And he was the scale of everything down there is that he's just like walking around now going, and you see this and a master plan committees and a massive boom, 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 boom. So I sort of like created a little monster down there, didn't I? He's on there, he's on the phone, he's talking to clients, he's able to find 3 properties for 3 clients who put 3 EOIs at the Virgin Club before we even hopped on the plane. Just due to his awesome levels of excitement and therefore belief. Because once you see it with your own eyes and you walk the ground and you speak to the sales office and go, meet with a couple of builders, why wouldn't you want to pass it on to others?
His level of excitement and he knew Melbourne was a good place to invest in, but then actually going to see it when he came back, his next level of excitement after that was, the clients that would be speaking to him would be over the moon. Yeah.
And I know you're obviously doing a lot of research all the time because as myself, you and James, we're the ones that first sort of, okay, if we're at that price bracket, the so what out of that is we're more than likely going to be in the Melbourne market.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, what's going on in the Melbourne market? Even though the property specialists go through the 7 ingredients in detail, it's us that need to be able to provide that context and overall vision and the first stages of belief. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm going to invest in the Melbourne market. Yeah. You found that awesome website, and will you mind just reading that quote? I think all of you will find this incredibly interesting. And of course, we've been operating down there for like 17, 18 months now, and now there's awesome reports coming out about their take on the Melbourne market.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
One of the parts of, as you said, as coaches, is to really dive into the research and the statistics and what's going on there at the moment. So this is from the Real Estate Institute of Victoria, and they released their September 25 quarterly results. And the results show that the median house prices in Metro Melbourne jumped 2.7% and regional Victoria rose 2.5%.
In 1 quarter?
In 1 quarter. And it's the 3rd straight quarter of house price growth in the Melbourne, Victorian region. And it is no secret. You look at the data that for a couple of years, the Melbourne market tracked sideways.
Yep.
Post-COVID. And there was a lot of market sentiment that didn't like Melbourne. But that's certainly shifting and changing now for sure.
For sure, mate. Yeah, and so good.
The data's confirming that as well.
Would you find that, what sort of sign does that sort of give for people that are buying in those sort of growth corridors?
Yeah, I mean, it's an encouraging sign of confidence, right? We know, and there's some additional information out there from 2024 statistics of population growth of Melbourne.
Yep.
And population growth of the top 20 urban areas in Australia. And in 2024, Melbourne led the charge.
Yeah.
It grew by the most. And then the suburbs of Melbourne and the growth corridors of Melbourne grew by the most.
Yeah.
So you've got population growth, you've got house price growth, all lining up to show, there is confidence that it's a strong market.
And there's no doubt about it, people that are getting in there quite early still because it was charging along as like one of the world's most livable cities, voted a few times in a row before the COVID hit. I like calling it the COVID, the Google, the Amazon, and it's fucking catching on too. Yeah. I love it. It was put in my newsletter the other day. I'm like, no, it's not called that. I just call it that. Anyway.
Drop the.
just Facebook.
But like people that get in early, so then obviously it went through that sort of lull. People that get in early have got to show two things. They've got to show the most amount of patience for the infrastructure and the development and the reasons why you're buying there from a future vision perspective to actually transpire. But then they got the most amount to gain.
Yep.
You know, I'll look at, it's no secret that, you know, that sort of South Ripley region near RAF Base Amberley in the southwestern growth corridor of Brisbane, we started finding houses for people in the sort of 2017, 18, like literally as soon as Axon started, because the other firm I was working with didn't really believe in that. And I'm like, well, I'll go out there and have a bit of a look. And there was not much out there back then. And when the first couple of houses started to be put into Springfield and Ripley, I'm like, fuck, I hope this works. And then for the 16, 17, 18, 19 period, there was like, it was meandering along,
So
CPI at best. And then boom, it came. But you know, there's, you know, now the houses out there that people were buying for 430 grand are now 830 grand.
Yeah.
Guess what those clients think of me? But it didn't happen straight away.
No.
So I guess the so what out of that is that when you're getting in early to a particular market, you've got to show the most amount of patience. Your levels of belief of what's going to occur need to be there, but you get to gain the most. Like some other clients recently that have bought in Ripley for 675, their house is already up over 800, and they're like, that's fucking awesome.
Love it, yeah.
I'm like, that's great. You made 150 grand of equity in a short period of time, but you haven't made 400 grand of equity like others that got in early did. So it's a different mindset in a different area down there. That's the main thing that Justin said. He goes, I can't believe the scale and how much infrastructure and development is happening down there. I'm like, well, that's great that a lot of our clients are getting in early.
Yeah. And look, the Melbourne growth corridors may not see that level of growth that sharply, that quickly as Ripley did, but certainly historically it's a very stable, consistent market that just continues to creep up and up and up over the years, which is what you ultimately want.
You know, we've been very lucky over the last few years that majority of our clients have been buying here in Southeast Queensland. So if there's an issue, we hop in the car and go drive there and go look for ourselves, walk the ground. One of my really good mates that I played army footy with back in the mid-90s, probably before the majority of you were born, he's finished doing a very demanding corporate job down in Melbourne, and he's now a man on the ground. So he's got his Axon shirt on. He's literally on a hair trigger. So, hey, mate, I need you to go and check this out. Boom, he's in a car. He's there in an hour. Or he's there doing more routine stuff to complement the formal updates that we're getting from the builders. Yeah. So I know that Dave's team in the property specialist lane and also Caitlin and Karina in the build support lane, you know, Chris is out there providing them extra updates and photos and videos and just overall situation awareness, which then gets passed on to the clients and, you know, they love it. So don't be concerned that the physical dislocation of Axon versus Melbourne is going to be an issue. We're there. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I'm on a plane again in another couple of weeks. So make sure
I go down there again.
You and James and a few others go down there as well.
Yep.
So that's going to be good to continue to provide you the level of awareness and clarity about what's going on in the market for sure. Let's switch gears for a second because with all those clients that have got a bunch of equity in their properties that have used our services over the years, generally they hit a bit of a T-junction when it comes to borrowing power and servicing.
Yep.
But we've been working on another little project with Deb, the finance broker, over the last 3 or 4 months, and it's just now coming to completion. Give us a bit of a summary about that if you can.
Yeah, I mean, particularly if you're a single income investor and you've got your first investment property, it is natural at the moment in the lending space that you might hit that T-junction. So working closely with Deb's our independent broker. She's got access to 30 to 40 different lenders. Now, those lenders are, if you think of it in tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 1 is your big banks, your majors, CBA, Westpac.
Or even Bendigo Bank, we might see on the TV
commercials
commercials or something. Yeah.
And then you can go down into tier 2 and tier 3, which are lenders that you probably haven't heard much about. You don't see them on the ads and stuff like that. And the majors and the alternate lenders fall under different policies and regulations. So the majors have inbuilt policies for buffers that they've got to put on their borrowing capacity.
Artificial buffers.
Artificial buffers.
Yeah.
You know, 2 or 3% or 3% buffer. The alternate lenders, your tier 2 and tier 3 lenders, don't have to do that. So there's no artificial buffer, which means that the borrowing capacity is often higher.
Yeah.
So that allows people with available equity to borrow a little bit more. Granted, we're still not going to take them to that maximum borrowing. We've got to do it in a safe and controlled way, but allows them to potentially get that second property or not.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple of your clients recently that have just got there. They've been the first iterations of going through this.
Yep.
They were sitting at, they've got a couple of $100 grand of equity and even $100 grand saved, but they can borrow max 400,000, 450, which obviously doesn't get you in the market anywhere. it did in Ripley 7 years ago, but we're not there. I can't go that much back to the future. But hey, presto, we work with these other tier lenders, and what's the borrowing now?
It gives them an extra couple of $100,000 at least in borrowing,
which is the difference out buying another asset, which will make a massive difference by the time you get older. So I'm super excited. As you intimated, but let me be clear, this is not for you clients. I'm like, I've got $100,000 saved. I can only borrow a certain amount. Can I go to a second or third tier lender? No. This is only being reserved for people that are in a strong financial position with a fair amount of available equity in their proproperties. Yeah. That's the bit, because there's some other bits and pieces to it that Dev needs to be aware of to make the deal. And again, we're not. You shouldn't want to. Allow yourself to be forced into your first property. You can run the line a little bit more when you're growing a portfolio, because you've already got a really stable base, asset base that is. So, mate, I'm really looking forward. I've already reached out to a couple of longer-term clients that have done a couple of coaching sessions with me in the want and desire to buy another property. And I'm like, sorry, man, the numbers just don't work. So they fucking do now. So that's I can't wait to have that coming through. Yeah. Awesome. And what about this? There's been an update to another government grant regarding sort of lower deposit and lenders' mortgage insurance and stuff.
Yeah. So it's another update. It's pretty prevalent in the media, but the 5% deposit that's out there is now unlimited spots essentially, but also they've raised the caps for the value of the property. So it's allowing people obviously now to get into the market with a lower deposit, which is your 5%. But also no LMI, which can be the better part of 10 to 15 grand. Yeah. So I saw a statistic the other day that it's now opening up the market to about another 20 to 40% of buyers that weren't able to get.
And what's that going to do?
So that's obviously got not obviously, but it's got follow-on effects. And it could create some upwards momentum on property prices, because you've now got more demand and the same supply.
Yep.
Which historically shows that values will go up. Yeah. In the right areas, of course.
In the right areas. Yeah, that's right. It's fun. I love these government grants that come out. It doesn't make it more affordable.
No.
It allows more people to get in, which creates more demand, which puts upward pressure on prices. It's like there's competing forces that are trying to do the right thing, and it's not bringing prices down.
No.
So what does that mean? When the opportunity of you being able to enter the market that suits your circumstances under whatever outcome you're trying to achieve, fucking get in, because it ain't going down. And it's a sidebar I wanted to bring up about the Melbourne market. Another client who living in his own home up here in Southeast Queensland, bought an investment property with us, Southeast Queensland, made 150 grand's worth of growth. Currently down in Sale doing some pilot training and whatever else. Super smart guy. You know who I'm talking to. He's like, while I'm down in Victoria, I've seen the Axon team talk about these sort of, suburbs in the growth corridors of Melbourne. I'm going to go for a bit of a drive around. And then I did a coaching session with him a couple of weeks ago. He goes, I said, great. What did you find? He's like, not much actually. He goes, I don't fucking know he didn't say fuck. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about, all this stuff that's going on down in Melbourne. I'm like, which suburbs did you go to? He goes, I went to this one, and this one. I'm like, they're not on the list. You went to the suburbs where there is nothing going on. I said, just because we've given you a broad area and you're a super smart guy, you've done your map recce, you've gone out there and there's nothing there. Those 5 suburbs that you just listed they're not even in our top 10.
They're not the goose eggs.
So, I don't mind disclosing to you. I'm like, hey, there's a growth corridor, but the suburbs are not all the same.
It's not all created equal.
All created equal. No. And then I'll share my screen. I'm like, this. He goes, all right, now I get it. He goes, I didn't go to those suburbs. I'm like, well, look at the shopping centre, look at the train station, look at this, look at all the schools, look at all the medical centres. He's like, no, I can see, all good. So I'm like, it's all right, I'm not pouring cold water on your initiative to drive out there, but you didn't meet the brief. You missed the brief. So anyway.
Missed the runway, mate, 2 years of pilot.
So that's pretty much all the stuff about the property market in general. So I hope
going on,
most of you found that informative.
Yep.
One of the things I'm super proud of, though, which is James has now become full operational capable as a property coach. And you're sitting next to him now, sort of doing his thing and mentoring him along the way. What have you observed?
I mean, I know, and I spoke to some clients yesterday that he was a property specialist who were doing their second property. And I said to them, look, we're going to have to get you a new property specialist because James is a coach. And they were absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
And, both of them said he was so good at what he did. He's going to be an excellent coach because he's bringing all that experience. 5 years, I think he's clocked up as a property specialist into the coaching lane, which is going to make him a.
We had his 5-year anniversary dinner. Sorry, you weren't invited.
Nah,
so he's definitely had 5 years.
He got a dinner finally.
Yeah.
I know he's been waiting on a dinner.
He's been waiting for a client dinner. I'm like, fuck that. I'll give you your dinner. But no, it's really when you are creating a plan for people to buy property, and then you get the property specialist to go and implement the plan. Having done that as 5 years and then come upstream to actually implement the plan, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So you're a property specialist for 5 days, I think.
Well,
Not 6 months. Yeah. No, we had some moving of the deck chairs. I'm like, Ryan, close that laptop. Come and open this one. You're now sitting with us. But mate, when you've got 10 years as a yeah, that's right. We've had a couple of clients come up and they had one of their wow dinners.
Yeah,
it is a client dinner, and you did actually come to that one. So that you've had more dinners in the last 6 months than what you've had in the last bloody 5 years.
I know my waist is showing it.
Yeah, I can tell. I didn't want to say anything. So that's bloody, and how good is it that client sort of showed amazing loyalty to us, built a couple of properties, referred 5 or 6 of their friends that have all gone through, like the difference they're making and the example they're showing to their sort of family and friends, and obviously the receipt of the business that comes our way, and then the opportunity for us to help them is just phenomenal. So
that's amazing and great. And I also think it's a testament to you and Tammy to initiate that thank you and that gesture.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not nothing to us. It means a lot that you're going out to the brew room or wherever you are and telling your friends about us.
Yeah, it's mate. Yeah, we don't have a pyramid, bloody, multi-level marketing referral system in place. If you want to tell your friends about it, then you've had a good experience. That's all good. And yeah, it'll certainly get to a point where it is recognised. And we do really, really appreciate, that sort of 80% repeat and referral stuff I spoke about before. So if you get to that level and you become part of our WOW budget, then yeah, we shall treat you as well, and it'll continue to happen. So yeah, that's one of those things. Speaking of Tammy, she did something recently as well, didn't she?
She did. I think it was yesterday.
Day before.
Day before.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Every day's a Monday.
Yeah, she was a keynote speaker at a follow-up Great Place to Work.
That's the awards night we went through a couple of months ago. Yeah, that was fun, hey?
That was great.
You look great in your tux.
Always.
Yeah. Roger that.
The only time. But yeah, she was invited to be a keynote speaker at a follow-up Great Place to Work seminar. Which
she's excellent.
Yeah. I can't wait. I didn't see it. I can't wait to see it and hear about it.
I can tell you, ladies and gents, my wife, the general manager of this firm and my boss at home, and pretty much when she's here as well, she's a fucking weapon when it comes to speaking in front of camera and being passionate and articulate. She doesn't swear as much as me. Well, actually, the only time she's swearing is at me, but I'm used to it. It's okay. But yeah, that's I'm so proud of her to be nominated. And there were some big note people on that, and she's doing another one in another few weeks' time that Jared Garringer is going to be the co-host with her.
Nice.
So yeah, she's
and that's
forging her way in the whole sort of Great Place to Work veteran DVA symposium space.
Yeah, and the one that a couple of days ago was that small micro size business.
Yeah.
How to create.
She was talking about culture.
Culture. Yeah. Fantastic.
Which is amazing here.
No one better to do it for sure.
I went across to Adelaide.
You had a little trip.
Yeah, a little trip. Went across to Adelaide. I actually went back to see my family. I went back to my hometown, which I hadn't been back to for about 10 years. I've seen my folks over the last 10 years, but it was at my little sister's place, not as far up past the Barossa there. So that was lovely to go back. Luckily, there's been a fair bit of rain around, so it wasn't just all fucking dirt and weeds and bloody, reaping season like it normally is as I go back at Christmas over the years. So it's lovely to go back in the countryside. I was on the drive out there. I just got out of the car and just smelt the country air. It was fucking excellent. But on the Wednesday night when I arrived in there, I did a quick little sort of intimate catch up with 4 clients in Adelaide. We don't have a big Adelaide client base.
Yeah,
No, so I had an awesome little lunch with some clients there, and it's dinner, I should say, and it's just so wholesome to speak to people. So one of the ladies has bought 2 properties with us, and we've known them for like 6 years. Another lady's bought 1 property with us, and the other couple that was there, they're in their second property, but I've only known them a couple of years. So they were interacting with themselves and like, oh, I know this guy, I know that guy. So yeah, it was just a great little intimate catch up. Apologies if you're in Adelaide and weren't invited. It wasn't like a big proper formal Axon client meetup per se. It was like a little artsy, intimate, invite only people that I've known for many, many years that I knew were in town. So yeah. One of the other things I'm really excited about though is that due to the level of inquiry, we've had no choice, but there is some now expressions of interest on our website for 2 new hires that we need.
Yes.
You remember you were new with the FNG 2 and a bit years ago. But yeah, what's what are your thoughts about, bringing on another person in the property specialist and build support lane?
Yeah, certainly a need. As you said, where we've got record levels of people reaching out to us, and in the name of maintaining a great place to work. I know you and Tammy are very sensitive to workloads and keeping people balanced and making sure that this stays a great place to work, which is then when you need to grow and have more people to alleviate tasks and all that sort of stuff, then that's the path we take. So it is we're hiring for a new property specialist administrator and another build support. Because we're going to have a lot of builds underway. Yeah. Not that we already do, but even more builds underway.
A lot
soon.
more, yeah. So just for clarity, the location here is at Axon HQ in the Gold Coast. We've had one lady reach out going, I'd love to do the job, but I'm getting posted in Melbourne next year. Would you consider it being a remote job? Sorry, we don't work like that. We know we don't have people work remotely. And it's probably got to be a January 26 start unless a unicorn arrives and we're like, you need to come and join us now. So, if that's is of interest to anyone out there listening or someone that you know, then, pass it on, jump on our website, go to I think it's the About Us page, and you'll see the EOIs there about what's going on. That's all the updates happening.
That's it.
Let's switch gears and jump into a client story. I've done too much talking today so far. Jump in and talk us about the second one. And then bottom.
As we said, we go back in our calendars. We think about all the clients we've spoken to over the last 30 or so days. And this story jumped out at me straight away, even though I was staring at my screen for a little bit yesterday thinking I didn't have anything to talk about. A couple reached out to me 12 months ago, I'm going to say, roughly, called them S&S. And they reached out to me wanting to continue to accumulate. So number one, they've already had an investment property in the Southeast Queensland Western Growth Corridor, and they used another firm to do it. The reason they reached out to us was because of ultimately the poor experience they got with that firm. And one of the key differences was that once the property was built, they were left to their own devices and had no support after. And there were things that needed attention after. And they were just left on their own. So that's
not good. How'd that make them feel?
Yeah, bad taste in their mouth. Yeah. Particularly when I showed them how we operate, and that was the first thing they said is, oh, wow, we've got lifelong support for the property. Absolutely do. We're not just going to let you go. So that was the reason they came to us. But then as we started to build the plan and we get to know each other a bit more, map out their circumstances, it became very clear that they were in significant consumer debt. A couple of really large car loans. They had to do some stuff for that first investment property. They didn't have the funds to do it at the time, so they put a whole bunch on credit cards. And so they ended up getting themselves into the better part of, I think it was about $90,000 worth of bad debt, which T-Junction straight away from borrowing based on incomes and some other things they had going on. So the plan we put in place was, hey, we're going to spend the next 2 years, realistically, getting rid of all that debt before we can go again. Fast forward, I'd say about 9 months, and S&S reached out to me again. We'd been catching up. We'd been getting sort of email updates, but then we jumped on Zoom, and they were both absolutely beaming. I was like, what's been going on? And they couldn't...
Beaming meaning proud?
Just so proud.
Yeah.
Like smiles on their faces. They were, when I first spoke to them, they were separated. So one of them was down in East Sale training. His partner was up in Brizzy. So they're now back together, which is a good thing. That's number one, why they'd be beaming. Number two, they couldn't wait to tell me about their debt reduction. And so they'd spent the last 9 months getting that sort of 90-odd-K down to about 20.
Whoa, 70K.
They threw everything.
That's... Yeah. Are they double income, no kids?
No, they got 2 kids.
Whoa, that's even more impactful.
In daycare and all that stuff. Yep.
That's commitment.
I couldn't believe it. And I don't think they
20 grand debt's manageable. Yeah. 90's not.
90's not. No. Yeah. 90 was, we can't, we've got to get rid of that. So, actually, when I took them back to version 1 of the plan, they knew their budget and they knew that it had been coming down. And I said, this is where we started. 9 months later, I showed them the figures and they both kind of looked at each other and went, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, holy shit's right. Yeah. And it's a testament to their dedication and discipline. Really, at the end of the day, I put the plan in place and said, it'll take about 2 years
to do
if you do this. And they went, well, 2 years is too long.
Yeah.
Better.
Wow.
And we're now going to catch up again. They said that 20 grand's going to be gone by the end of the year.
Oh.
Mark our words. So we're going to catch up towards the back end of this year and then really start to put a plan in place for IP number 2.
Mate.
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and gents. It can be done.
Yep.
When you've got focus and when you've had that real. So my observation would be many of the coaching sessions I've done over the years, because we're a few degrees separated, it's almost like holding up a mirror and you're just asking them questions about their circumstances that perhaps they haven't asked themselves. And it just becomes abundantly clear. It's like, hey, you can either do it or you're not.
And that's the clarity is if you're like, we're paying off this stuff. I'm like, okay, let's put it on the plan. If you're paying it off at this rate, this is when it's going to be gone.
Yep.
And that's when people go, oh, that's ages away.
And how much is the property going to be worth in 2 years' time?
Yeah.
So then it's going to take you another 6 months to get to a point where you got.
So that's the power of putting it all on paper instead of it just swirling around in your head. And then they had those gates and milestones, and they just got to work, and it's awesome.
How powerful is the sync matrix we do on page 4 of our plan?
Yeah.
No one else in the industry does it. But yeah, it's so important just to synchronize what's happening in your life, and then you synchronize what your property opportunities are there underneath it. Like it's gold. It's well done, Ryan. That's a fantastic story. Clearly, you've got a very strong relationship with them. Clearly, they respect you, and it's almost like I bet like let's not let Ryan down. So I bet that's what they were sort of thinking. I've got a couple of client stories, just quick ones. So there was a young lady that called the phone here. And then when it's like, does someone know, I just call her Sandy, it's not her name. Does someone know Sandy? And I'm like, and her surname. I'm like, I know that name. And Kelly's like, oh, just got off the phone to her. She said that, she's reaching out. She knows you from like back in the day. I'm like, fuck, that's a very broad statement. But I was like, which time frame are we talking about here and for what reason? But anyway, I'm like, I know who that is. Jumped on the call straight away. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, good, blah, blah, blah. And then, so long story short, her and her ex-partner used the services of the other firm that I was working with, but I was their sort of coach / property specialist. We were configured slightly differently back then. They've since gone through a messy...
And back then was 20...
Thank you. Back then was like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Before Axon was even a twinkle in my eye. So this is like that day. So, and I said, look, what's been going on? And unfortunately, they've gone through a pretty messy breakup with a couple of kids involved, which is really, really sad. That came to the end of it. And she's looking, I've got a pretty decent financial settlement coming my way because they sold a couple of assets, including the one they bought with me / them. And I'm like, okay, great. So, sat down and did since done a coaching session and now created another plan and put her on a pathway. Now she's going to effectively take back control of her life.
Amazing.
And as per the original, the coaching series, I'm like, right, I'm not going to cut any corners here. And she's like, at first, she's like, this is way more comprehensive than what you used to do. I'm like, that's called evolution.
Yeah.
And that's called my spin on things. Yeah. So she had the power of comparison as far as that goes, of what was to what is now. And I'll get to what is now still in a minute from another client story I've got coming up, because that does involve that other firm, which is just funnily that it continues to spring up. And then, so when I got to the property obstacles part of it, I said, like, what are your obstacles? What are your non-negotiables? What are you going to find most valuable out of working with Axon Services? And she sat there and she paused and I'm like, what do you reckon? She's like, I just knew that I wasn't going to undertake this without having you in my life.
Powerful.
I was like, whoa. And she goes, yep, I don't have any other obstacles as long as, Robbie, you are involved in my plan. And I was like, I've still got tingles now. I was like, wowzers. Like, everything you've been through and everything you've told me and all the shit that you've had to face and the fortitude and commitment and determination to get to this point. She goes, and I just reached out to you. And I was like, far out, man, that is bloody phenomenal. So, I've obviously got the rest of the team in now. And she's going through the rest of the profile and she's, looking at the research and she's about to find a property soon. And it's just, heartwarming is not even the right word.
No,
the right word is it's just so satisfying that someone she was a ex-military, now veteran, going on her own journey. So, it's just amazing that someone from back in the day has reached out to me in that
way back.
manner. So, and the other one is, this is like a third party story, but one of the other guys that works here one of his mates saw him with an Axon stubby caller. He's like, oh, I see you're in the property industry now after recently getting out.
Yep.
So basically gave him a bit of a call, and he's now going through the process of using another firm to undertake the purchase of his own home in Darwin.
Owner Rock, yeah.
Lifestyle purchase. Probably thinks it's going to go up in value because the song they're singing him on the radio is not going to be playing in another little while. And anyway, so then they basically sent through the snapshot of the numbers that are associated with the purchase of that property, own home. And I'm like, okay, yeah, give us a look. And he's like, oh, let me show you. And it's got all the numbers down there. It's like rent income, tax income, negative gearing, depreciation report, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, hang on a second. Is this not an owner-occupied property? He goes, yeah, he's buying an owner-occupied property. I'm like, well, why are they using the rental income and the tax return? Because you get no rental income because you've got to pay the mortgage. And obviously none of the expenses are tax deductible for your own home. And I said, hey, go just let him know that I can see holes in that straight away. Yeah. No wonder the numbers down the bottom look so pretty. They ain't going to be like that when you're paying all the mortgage and the rates and the insurances and any maintenance that are going to have on that property. Yeah. So I went back to his mate and he's now armed with a third-party viewpoint of what the numbers look like. And I was like, thank fuck he reached out to someone else that works here. And now he's now got a friend that's now checking the numbers. Yeah. Otherwise, and they're like, this is amazing. Don't worry about the numbers. This is an amazing opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity. Those 3 words, whatever it is, this is an amazing, those 6 words don't fucking come out at no one with an Axon shirts on. So it was just interesting to see that direct competitors of ours are continuing to provide absolute rubbish information to people that are serving. It's fucking horrible. So please, ladies and gents, do your due diligence. Yeah. And if you need to reach out to someone to get a second opinion on things, please do so. Because once this guy gets clarity on the numbers, he will be able to a genuine, informed fork in the road about whether he's going to fucking back himself into a financial shitstorm or not.
Yep.
Very interesting. Literally hot off the press from 24 hours ago. Take it for what it's worth. Let's look forward.
All right.
We already spoke about the veteran games.
Yeah.
Are you going out there?
I'm going out there.
You're out there with your fucking cowboy hat on last year.
Yeah, I might
taking it again.
I might get the Bunnings hat.
Oh, that's right. The Bunnings hat. That's going to be good. So yeah, look, for those that don't know, Heston Russell was I was at Duntroon in his last 6 months. I didn't know him that well. Clearly we then went and worked together at Tucumano for a few years. So look, he's a really, really good mate of mine. I'm super proud of who he is and what he's doing. This is the 3rd iteration now of the Veteran Games. Axon's been one of the founding sponsors of it. And of course we're sponsoring it again now. So, and that will go on forever. So, I'm so proud of what's going on there, and just that the Veteran Games has grown. I think they had 5 teams in the first year, 10 or 11 teams in the second year. I know there's a lot more this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Going year 1 to 2, the growth was huge. So I'm excited now to go year 3.
Yeah.
Because I know they had some other qualifying games in Darwin. So
yeah, that's right. Like heats
and stuff up in Darwin. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty big out there.
Awesome. I can't wait. So I'll be out there on the Saturday morning. I'll be there for the opening ceremony, do a bunch of filming and stuff. So if you feel like you want to come and say good day to anyone with an Axon shirt on, then go do that.
Yeah, we'll be there.
One of the other things I'm super looking forward to, mate, is that our yearly famous annual Axon Retreats are happening.
Yep.
So we're heading up to Noosa this year. So it was actually funny a couple of years ago when your wife Amana that used to work here, when we were just sort of, I was just visualising how things might expand an Axon. I'm like, Amana, tell Ryan I want to talk to him. I still remember where I was sitting in the kitchen. We were sharing a margarita or something similar. I'm like, I want to talk to your husband when I get back. So that's sort of, a couple of years ago, mate.
Who knows what this retreat will bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we went down to Byron last year.
Yep.
You were in the sauna. You were riding your bike. So you take it as a real wellness retreat whilst having a couple of mugs at night.
Certainly do a couple of mugs as well. But it's nice to get up early and get some training in because the kids aren't poking.
You can't do that normal. Yes.
Not as consistently.
There's other kids that are poking your ears. So I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Of course,
KC.
Yes.
Looking forward to it again.
Melbourne, round 3 for KC. Melbourne Cup coming up in a few weeks' time. So if you have a punt, hope you have a great day. Bloody frock up, do your thing, and stay safe, of course. And then something else I'm really looking forward to is the great man, Dave Simpson. Been our longest serving team member. He's going to have his 50th birthday over in New Zealand.
Knock up 50. There you go.
So, there you go. He's just knocked up his 7th year anniversary here. And now, Big Dave's going to, turn the 50. So, the the grey hairs in his beard will be even more prevalent, I would expect. And of course, he's got some really super.
Pot calling the kettle grey, mate.
I can't grow a beard. Then I don't grow a beard because it's probably more grey than what you even think. So yeah, mate, that's it. I can't think of anything else. Hopefully you found that somewhat informative. So yeah, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Axon's Morning Brief. I really hope, like, listen to a few of those other things we spoke about, especially in the first section, however long that went for. Be careful out there, you know, and it's super important that you should want to, and have to know as much about the market as you can. If you are deciding to do this by yourself, not a drama. I wish you the best of luck. But I tell you what, you're going to get a much better outcome if you reach out to someone that does have your best interests at heart and can coach and guide and mentor you in the right direction to ultimately give you a better outcome. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks,
See you
mate.
next time. Take it easy.
Bye.